As World War II continued to rage across Europe, the conflict on the Eastern Front was particularly fierce and devastating. The Nazis had gained control over a vast expanse of land, bringing many countries under their oppressive rule. Those living in occupied areas found themselves at the mercy of a brutal police state, where fear and oppression were part of daily life. On top of this, horrific persecution of minorities became widespread, and countless individuals deemed undesirable were forcibly deported to concentration camps, where many met their tragic fate in gas chambers. However, resistance movements began to emerge, risking everything to defy their occupiers. One such resistance group was the partisans, who fought fiercely for freedom in various countries. Among their ranks was an extraordinarily courageous young woman, 17-year-old Lepa Radic. Despite her youth, she stood against Nazi forces with unyielding bravery. But tragically, her resistance ultimately led to her capture and execution. Lepa Radic was born on December 19, 1925, into a Bosnian Serb family in a small village near Bosanska Gradiška, located in the region we now call Bosnia and Herzegovina. Her family led a modest life, working hard to make a living, and they also held strong political beliefs. In particular, they were committed to communist ideals. Her uncle was especially active in the communist movement, which had a significant influence on Lepa from a young age. As she grew up, Lepa was known for her studious nature and deep curiosity. She excelled in school, quickly advancing beyond her peers in reading and developing an interest in political ideas that reflected her family's beliefs. At just 15, Lepa joined the League of Communist Youth of Yugoslavia, known as SKOJ, and the Communist Party of Yugoslavia. It was 1941, and despite her age, Lepa was already becoming a politically aware young woman. By this time, the Nazis had already occupied large parts of Europe, and Hitler's ambitions were turning towards the east. His next target was the Soviet Union, and he set plans in motion for Operation Barbarossa, the largest military invasion of its time. This assault included an invasion of the Balkan states, including Yugoslavia, which had tried to remain neutral. However, Yugoslavia's attempts to avoid war were futile. By March 1941, it had signed a pact aligning with the Axis powers. When the Yugoslavian government was overthrown shortly after, Hitler declared the new regime hostile, leading to the German invasion of Yugoslavia on April 6, 1941. The Yugoslav territories, including Bosnia and Croatia, were soon carved up by the Nazis. The infamous Ustaše regime took control of the region, ruling with unparalleled cruelty and aiming to create an ethnically pure Croatian state. They enacted policies targeting Serbs, Jews, and Romani people for extermination, with shocking brutality often directed towards ethnic Serbs. In one incident near Lepa's village, Ustaše soldiers gruesomely executed a young Serb using a saw, showcasing their inhumane methods and mirroring the racial persecution spread across Nazi-occupied Europe. Despite the Nazis' grip, resistance began to take shape, and two key groups emerged: the Chetniks and the partisans. While both opposed Nazi occupation, their ideologies and strategies differed. The partisans, more radical, pushed for immediate action and were willing to take the fight to the occupiers. Lepa's father and uncles joined the partisan movement in July 1941, and by November the family faced repercussions. They were arrested by the Ustaše. However, in a daring operation, partisans managed to free Lepa and her family from imprisonment. After her release, Lepa and her sister Dara joined the partisan efforts in earnest. Lepa initially served as a nurse, caring for wounded soldiers, but soon began recruiting young people to the cause and participating in military operations. Her courage was evident when she led a group of partisans to harvest grain near a German-occupied area, demonstrating her readiness to take risks for the movement. In January 1943, as Nazi and Chetnik forces launched Case White, a massive assault intended to crush the partisans, Lepa played a critical role in transporting the wounded to safety, adhering to the partisan policy of never leaving their injured comrades behind. But in February, during intense fighting, Lepa was captured by the 7th SS Volunteer Mountain Division while attempting to evacuate women and children from the battle zone. Refusing to surrender easily, she engaged the German forces with her rifle until she ran out of ammunition. Once captured, she endured isolation and torture as the Nazis tried to extract information about the partisan movement. Despite their efforts, Lepa remained defiant, refusing to betray her comrades. For this, the Nazis sentenced her to death. On February 8, 1943, she was led to a hastily constructed gallows in Bosanska Krupa. Even in her final moments, Lepa stood firm, rallying those who gathered by shouting, "Long live the Communist Party and partisans! Fight for your freedom! Do not surrender to the evildoers!" In a last-ditch effort, the Nazi officer offered to spare her life if she revealed the names of her fellow partisans. Her response was resolute. "I am not a traitor to my people. Those whom you are asking about will reveal themselves when they have succeeded in wiping out all you evildoers." With that, the execution proceeded, and at only 17 years old, Lepa Radic was hanged, a martyr to the cause she believed in. The Nazis' own reports noted her unprecedented defiance, and her sacrifice became a symbol of courage within the partisan movement. After the war, the Communist Party of Yugoslavia, led by Tito, posthumously awarded her the title of Order of the People's Hero. Today, Lepa Radic is remembered as a powerful example of youthful bravery in the face of tyranny. Despite her age, she stood against one of history's darkest forces, and her story continues to inspire those who value freedom and resilience. Thank you for joining us in this look back at Lepa Radic's life and sacrifice. If you found her story as moving as we did, consider subscribing to support the channel.